Judges, chapter 6. But the people of Israel did what was evil from Adonai's perspective. So Adonai handed them over to Midian for 7 years. Midian exercised its power harshly against Israel, and because of Midian, the people of Israel hid themselves in mountains, in caves, and in other safe places. One time after Israel's sowing season, Midian, with Amalek and others from the east, attacked them. They set up camp by them and destroyed the produce of the country all the way to Azah. They left nothing for people to live on, no sheep, no oxen, no donkeys. For they came up with their cattle and tents, and they came in as thick as locusts. Both they and their camels were beyond numbering, and they came into the land to destroy it. Israel became very discouraged because of Midian, and the people of Israel cried out to Adonai. When the people of Israel cried out to Adonai because of Midian, Adonai sent a prophet to the people of Israel who said to them, Adonai, the God of Israel, says, I brought you up from Egypt out of a life of slavery. I delivered you from the power of the Egyptians and from the power of all your oppressors. I drove them out ahead of you and gave you their land. And I said to you, I am Adonai your God. You are not to be afraid of the gods of the Amori, in whose land you are living. But you paid no attention to what I said. Then the angel of Adonai came and sat under the pistachio tree in Ophrah that belonged to Joash the Abiezri. His son Gideon, was threshing wheat in the winepress in order to hide it from Midian. The angel of Adonai appeared to him and said to him, You valiant hero, Adonai is with you. Excuse me, sir, answered Gideon, but if Adonai is with us, then why is all this happening to us? And where are all his miracles our ancestors told us about when they said, Didn't Adonai bring us up from Egypt? For now Adonai has abandoned us and handed us over to Midian. Adonai turned to him and said, Go in the strength of yours, and save Israel from the hands of Midian. Haven't I sent you? But Gideon answered him, Forgive me, my lord, but with what am I to save Israel? Why, my family is the poorest in Manasseh, and I'm the youngest person in my father's house. Adonai said to him, Because I will be with you, you will strike down Midian as easily as if they were just one man. Gideon replied, If indeed you favor me, would you mind giving me a sign that it is really you talking with me? Please don't leave until I go and return with a gift and present it to you. He replied, I'll wait till you come back. Gideon went in, cooked a young goat, and made matzot from a bushel of flour. He put the meat in a basket and the broth in a pot, and brought them out to him under the pistachio tree and presented them. The angel of God said to him, Take the meat and matzot, lay them on this rock, and pour out the broth. Gideon did so. Then the angel of Adonai reached out with the stick he was holding, touched the meat and matzot, and fire shot up out of the rock and burned up the meat and matzot. Then the angel of Adonai disappeared before his eyes. Gideon realized that he was the angel of Adonai and said, Oh no, my Lord Adonai, because I've seen the angel of Adonai face to face. But Adonai reassured him, Shalom to you. Don't be afraid. You won't die. Then Gideon built an altar there to Adonai and called it Adonai Shalom. To this day it remains in Ophrah of the Abiezri. That very night Adonai said to him, Take your father's bull and the other bull, the 7-year-old. Destroy the altar to Baal that belongs to your father. Cut down the sacred pole next to it, and build a proper altar to Adonai your God on top of this strong point. Then take the second bull and offer it as a burnt offering, using the wood of the sacred pole you cut down. Gideon took 10 of his servants and did what Adonai had told him to do. He didn't do it by day because he was afraid of the men in his father's household and those from the city, so he did it at night. When the men of the city got up the next morning, there was the altar of Baal destroyed, the sacred pole cut down, and the second bull a burnt offering on the newly built altar. They asked each other, Who could have done this? But after investigating, they concluded that Gideon, the son of Joash, had done it. Bring out your son, the men of the city demanded of Joash, so that he may die, because he destroyed the altar of Baal and cut down the sacred pole next to it. But Joash said to all those crowding around him, You're defending Baal, aren't you? It's your job to save him? Anyone who defends Baal will be put to death before morning. If he's a god, let him defend himself. After all, somebody destroyed his altar. Therefore on that day Gideon was given the name Yerub-Baal, Let Baal defend, because they said, let Baal defend himself against him, since he destroyed his altar. Like all Midian, Amalek and the others from the east joined forces, crossed the Yarden, and set up camp in the Yizri'el valley. But the spirit of Adonai covered Gidon. He sounded the call on the shofar, and Aviezer rallied behind him. He sent messengers throughout all Manasseh, and they too rallied behind him. He also sent messengers to Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali, and they came up to join them. Gidon said to God, if you are going to save Israel through me, as you said you would, then here, I will lay a wool fleece on the threshing floor. If there is dew on the fleece only, while all the ground stays dry, I will be convinced that you will save Israel through me, as you said you would. And it happened. He got up early in the morning, pressed the fleece together, and wrung dew out of it, a bowl full of water. But Gidon said to God, don't be angry with me, because I am asking one more thing. Let me make one more test, please. This time, let it be dry only on the fleece, with dew all over the ground. And that is what God did that night. It was dry only on the fleece, even though there was dew all over the ground. End of Judges, chapter 6.